As people say, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And when I wake up in time to eat breakfast, I like to start my day off with some scrambled eggs. And this recipe I've been using for about 2 years now. I've had multiple of my friends eat it, most of my family eat it, and all of them said it was pretty good and they would eat it again. Not pretty good, they said it was really good and they would eat it again. I really enjoy these eggs. I enjoy cooking these eggs, and I hope you guys will enjoy them as well. But first and foremost, you have to gather your ingredients, and that would consist of 3 eggs, Colby Jack cheese, shredded preferably, but you can use the slices, minced garlic, or if you don't have that available, you can use garlic powder. They work the same. I prefer minced garlic. Onion powder and pepper. The utensils you will be using to make these eggs would be a pan. You can use whatever size pan you want. I like the smaller size because it's easier to flip. Ham or butter for so the eggs don't stick onto the pan. A bowl for whisking, and something to whisk with. I use a fork, but you guys can use a whisk. Probably better to use a whisk, but I use a fork. And last but not least, a spatula. When you have everything gathered and you've washed your hands, of course, you can start putting everything together. So you'll take the eggs and you would break them one by one into the bowl. I'm not going to do that now, but after you do that, you will sprinkle the Colby Jack cheese. I'd say about 4 to 5 pinches of Colby Jack cheese into the bowl and start whisking. Once you start whisking, get about halfway into the process and start adding the minced garlic. What you're gonna wanna do with this though is sprinkle it in this type of motion, in like a zigzag motion over the eggs until most of it is covered so you can get that nice garlicky taste. And then you wanna move on to the pepper. Sprinkle that on, same motion, but not as much as the garlic. And then you will want to get the onion powder and same motion. As much as the garlic, but I'd say a little bit more. After that, you will want to continue the whisking process and make sure everything is nice and yellow, make sure everything is mixed well, because if it's not mixed, it's gonna be on one side and then one side will taste really garlicky and the others won't. Make sure everything is mixed very well. And then after that, you're gonna wanna take your pan and spray it all over the pan. This is so the eggs won't stick and it will just make cleanup a lot easier. Then, trust me, I didn't use this and now I do. It's a godsend. After the pan is panned up, you want to put the stovetop on high for about 10 to 15 seconds and then lower the flame. Or if you use an electric stovetop, I have a gas one. If you use an electric, you're gonna want to wait for it to heat up all the way. Put your pan on it for I'd say about 10 to 15 seconds as well for an electric one, and then lower it to a medium temperature. After that, you're gonna wanna pour the eggs from the bowl onto the pan. After you do that, you should hear a sizzle, and if you don't, that's fine. It would just take a bit longer to cook than normal. And then you'll take your spatula and start moving the eggs around and make sure they don't get on the edges. Make sure they don't get on the edges, because if they do, they'll cook weird and you don't want that to happen. After, I'd say about 5 to 7 minutes, they should be nice and yellow, nice and fluffy. If you keep moving them around and chopping them up a little bit so they get scrambled, they should be done about 5 to 7 minutes and they're ready to be put on a plate. Once you do that, you take this take the pan and just scoop them onto the plate. And then you're done. Nice, simple, 3 easy steps. Gather ingredients, whisk eggs, pour onto the pan, and then if you count this as a step, put it onto the plate. I hope you guys enjoy these eggs if you choose to make them. I really, 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 really recommend that you do though. And thanks for listening.